share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, so you never know what's going to happen next, right? You never know what's coming round the corner. Sadly, another one has fallen, right? We lived through this through 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Great shows, all falling to ideological and political insanity. And we kind of got used to it then. One fell back. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I found to be absolutely excellent, right? I really enjoyed it. I wish I could say the same of the Orville. The Orville, in my opinion, has gone woke. What does woke mean? Because people who don't like the term say it doesn't even have a definition. I will tell you what my definition is. I think it's a fair one. I think it's when you take an existing successful entertainment and you use it to platform ideological ideas, and normally those ideological ideas are things that everybody agrees with and nobody agrees with, right? Things everybody agree with, that gay people are people too and should be treated well. Everybody, I mean, not everybody, but everybody I've ever met in my life feels that way. Yeah, black people are people too. Everybody I ever met feels that way, right? I understand there are racists out there. I just don't know any of them, right? I just don't think it's such a big thing, right? They have that kind of idea that, again, we all agree in. And other ideas like men can have babies! Men can have babies and periods! And some women have penises. Which I'm not going to contradict that on YouTube, because they don't like you contradicting that at all. All I will say is, okay. That's what you say. Some people say the world's flat. I don't know. Who knows or dares to dream? But yeah, so I do think the Orville has gone woke, which it really breaks my heart, because it was like the one of the few refuge through the real dark times that we could go to, right? So I'm really genuinely sad about it. I think the initial Topa episode from, was it season 1, was about somebody being born the wrong gender and being forced to live that way. Being born a gender and being forced to live something that isn't them, right? I think it's an allegory for what it's like to be trans, right? So I think last week's episode, which is all about Topa becoming transitioning to be a woman, there's been some debate. Is it about detransitioning or transitioning? I firmly believe it's about transitioning. There was an interview with Seth MacFarlane in Hollywood Reporter, where it seems to be his point of view that it's cruel not to let children transition. And you'll notice that everybody thinks that, a vast majority think that, are people who have no idea what children are and or have any stable relationships. So that left a very negative taste in my mouth for this week's episode, right? It really left a very negative taste in my mouth with it. But I try and watch everything going in. I try not to take my prejudices going in and give you a genuine, honest review. That's how I ended up saying I think Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I think, is a good show, right? Because I really try and detach my prejudice and view things in of themselves, right? So now going into this episode, it feels very different. So before I continue the interview, the introduction, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are fantastic. Thank you very much. Especially subscribe. That really helps me. Share the video. That really super helps me. Comment, let me know what you think. Sign up to my Substack, which is my email newsletter. I put out a bunch of archive stuff on that. Go ahead and enjoy it as well. As well as let you know about my scintillating content that I put out every day. If you've ever seen my content not coming out, it means I've been hit by a meteor or hit by YouTube. One of the two. I'm also on Rumble. Follow me there. That'd be fantastic. Okay? Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. Fine. So this week's episode it just highlights to me the massive difference we have in worldview between myself and Seth MacFarlane. I think Seth MacFarlane has a very Hollywood worldview. And I have a much more traditional worldview. I genuinely believe, right? I genuinely believe the way that most human beings experience the most amount of happiness is by through monogamy, right? It's best if you're a virgin when you get married and your only sexual partner in your life is your spouse, right? I know that's super boring. I understand that's something that virtually nobody gets to, right? But I think that's the idea. If you do that, your sex is going to be a lot better, right? And a lot more meaningful, a lot happier. Your life will be happier, struggling, having children, sacrificing, all these traditional things. In the end of the day, it makes for your life. It makes your life happy and contented, as opposed to the Hollywood outlook is everything is for your own personal pleasure. Why get married? Well, that's why they don't have stable relationships. That's why they don't have kids. But they will tell you what to do with your kids, right? And that is what this episode is about. I'm really... honestly, if I wasn't reviewing this, I would have dropped this show. I hope it doesn't get a full season. I really, genuinely hope it does not get a full season. This episode is basically about what Malloy starts off. He's living like a single loser, doing single loser stuff. At some point in the episode, he actually gets meaning in his life, and then it's ripped away from him. And they really nod to how stunning and brave they are. Right, that's essentially the episode. I think the Orville is woke. Man, I really hope it doesn't get a season 4. I'm really glad they haven't announced one yet. Anyway, let me know what you think. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. I go through this with a fine-tooth comb. Really, genuinely, let me know what you think. And if you ever want to come on my channel and expound a different opinion, that's fine. I'm all for the conversation. And I will say this about the show. The skill in making it is much higher than it was in Star Trek Discovery or Picard. I mean, I think Seth MacFarlane really has done a very, very good job with the scripting and the directing and production of the show in general. I just think its central core ideas are pure evil, right? As opposed to Star Trek. Yeah, the original series of Star Trek, I kind of agreed with their worldview. So there we are. Again, but that's my point of view. Let me know what you think. But now, let me hand over to me from last night when I went over this episode, and you can actually finally hear what you can finally hear what I think in detail. Let me hand over to me from last night. This is a great opening shot, right? It's a really, really great opening shot. Looks and feels expensive, and it's something we haven't seen before. I really like you get to feel the texture of the ship as it goes across the outside and then into Summer's window. And here we have the fundamental problem with this episode, right? They're going in there and he's having this party, and everybody in this room is a loser, right? Everybody in this room is a massive, massive loser and a groomer as well, right? So I don't like anybody going in. I really don't like anybody going in, but they're also, as becomes evident in this episode, absolute loser. He's sitting around playing a guitar. Why? Because he's a single prick who's still doing the same thing he did when he was 20 as when he was 40, right? It's, okay. So there's this thing that Rabbi Noach Weinberg, of blessed memory, used to say that I think is quite powerful, right? Everybody thinks a baby is cute, right? Babies, generally speaking, most babies are cute, but they are. Most babies really are cute, right? Especially after they heal up after being born, right? But if you have a 5-year-old at the same level of development as a baby, it's tragic, right? You understand it's tragic. In the same way, if you have a 10-year-old, 10-year-olds are a gorgeous thing. 10-year-olds are fun, right? They are fun. But if they have them at the same level developmentally as a 5-year-old, it's tragedy. It's a tragedy. 15-year-olds are a pain in the ass, but they're lovely. They are. They're so stupid, but they're lovely. But you have a 15-year-old acting like they're a 5-year-old, it's tragic, right? It's the same way if you have a 20-year-old who's acting like a 10-year-old, there's something wrong. And that never changes. When you have a 30-year-old who's acting like a 20-year-old, it's tragic. When you have a 40-year-old acting like a 20-year-old,
it's tragic. This was okay when you were 20. This is why I didn't like later episodes of what was I going to say? Later episodes of Friends. That's what it was. Friends. Why? Because they in the early seasons they were young people, right? And now 50-year-olds are pain in the ass, but they're lovely. That can be taken the wrong way out of context, and it probably will be. Growing up isn't a bad thing, but they hate the idea of this in the Orville, right? Because Seth MacFarlane hates the idea of this because they're all idiots. They don't know what life's about. The boring truth is, marriage and monogamy brings you the happiest life. Let it be, Rabbi is probably having a crisis. No, but that's the whole crux of this episode. So anyway, fine. So he's having this party, right? And they're all hanging out. And so there's a subplot. Isaac's trying to make friends with Seth MacFarlane's girlfriend, who looks like his other girlfriend, who's generally a hated character. And he gets advice from Lamar on how to do that. So you got a small talk, blah, blah, blah. And so then this is just a weird thing, right? He's got a phone hanging out in his apartment. He said, well, what is this? So a phone of somebody, they got saved and I bought a copy of it, right? And it's got all about her life in it, and he knows everything about her. Okay, and then again, Borders, you're a creepy groomer. I don't like any of these people anymore. And they all do a selfie together, and it's just, it's okay, whatever, but fine. If it wasn't so deeply distasteful, I wouldn't have a problem with it. So they got their new MacGuffin. They've got a time travel thing they've worked out how to do. And again, they actually get the comedy right here. They make a sandwich, and then they send the sandwich back 30 seconds in the past when it appears there, right? And then he's like, oh, let's send it to 3 months in the future so I can eat it then. So they got this time drive thing, and it's like, it's the most important thing ever. Even politicians act like children now, especially politicians, right? I used to think politicians were like 2 notches below child molesters before I realized I was just being silly. Politicians are child molesters. they're one and the same. So anyway, they got this time travel thing. They have a time drive now. So they got to transport it to a research facility, and they got to send Ted Danson's going to send a bunch of spaceships to accompany them. And I can't remember what her name is. Admiral whatever shows up, and they accompany Orville to where they're going. But they get there, oh no, it's destroyed. And then, oh no, come the Kazon. And again, it looks great. They're having too many, because they have too many of these things in a season, it's not feeling real anymore, right? So this is the episode where Geordie actually gets to meet Leah Brahms rather than a hologram. If only. If only. I guess, kind of, yeah. Didn't they meet? They met and they hated each other. Or she hated him, as I recall. So good action sequence as they fight the as the Kalon turns up, and it's we get the title sequence, and it's but they're doing this too often in the season, and the season's not very long. So it doesn't have the TNG feel anymore, right? But okay, fine. It's a good act. It's a good action, but I think the set's a little bit naff, quite frankly. And they fight, and they Kalon's like, we want the time drive, and they they send Gordon to destroy it, right? They send Gordon to like blow it up, and he does that, and they go into this Matari Nebula river from Star Trek 2 thing, and as he does it, he gets zapped by this time energy and gets thrown. He vanishes, right? So now they jumped away and they're out of danger. They work out where he is. And he ended up in 2015, right? He landed in 2015 and he died at 96 and he had kids and a lot. He had got married. He had one boy and two girls. And he just seemed like he had a good full life, right? And so they said, fine, we have to go and rescue him. Okay, I totally understand. Oh, hello, Daisy. How you doing? My dog just came downstairs. So I have a thing where my cat, we have a little gate to downstairs to where my office is, and the cat likes to open it up and then it invites the dog down, and then she closes the gate. The dog gets trapped in. Daisy, okay there, darling? Okay, that's good. Fine. So they say, fine. It's like the Red Dwarf for a time slice. Like we got to go and rescue him, right? Where Lister goes back in the past and invents the tension sheets, and he ends up marrying Koo Star, because I remember. And having constant sex and dies happily, aged 96 in his plane, having making love to his third wife or something. But I said, we got to go and save him. Why? It's our duty. My duty is an absolute bastard. It's exactly that plot, right? So yeah, let's go rescue him. Mr. Malloy died peacefully at his home in Pasadena, California in 2068. He was an exceptionally skilled pilot, blah, blah, blah. Little is known of Mr. Malloy's life before he moved to Pasadena. According to acquaintances, he earned his private pilot's license in his late teens and largely self-taught aircraft mechanic. Collins described him as one of the most intuitive and insightful areas. It looks like he's keeping, it hasn't affected history at all. He had a quiet, quiet life. But yeah, we got to rescue him. It's our duty as a complete bastard. So they go, the Yaffet's in it. And I'm like, oh, why are they just besmirching you like this? And they do the sequence. They go back and they're at 2025. They're 10 years out, right? So they're neatly sidestepping Trump and Biden, right? Although they had no idea how bad it would be. Oh, my God. If you think 2025 America is going to look like the way they're going to show it without Trump coming back, you'll be lucky, right? And even with him coming back, you'll be lucky. So the radar invisible, they have to fly down, and Isaac is going to put on his hollow disguise as the actor who plays him, and Seth MacFarlane's hot girlfriend is there, along with Adrian Plotnicki and Seth MacFarlane. They fly down to LA, Pasadena, and they land apparently the next morning. Great effect shot, fantastic effect shot. Isaac and Burke, whatever her name is, they got to go and get the fuel so they can get back to the future. Well, they got to go rescue Isaac from happiness and contentment. So he's doing his job, and all of a sudden they turn up. Oh my God! And he's like, "Wow, so great to see you." I said, "Oh, we're here to rescue." Really? I said, and so he's got the Orville name tag on his car, but he couldn't get Orville, so he got Oville, right? Closest he could get. And he's like, "No, I really like the 20th century. It was fun." I said, "Well, are you ready to come back?" So I think you should come and see this, right? And he's married, his wife's pregnant, and he has his kid, and he has a life of meaning, right? His life actually is worth the thing. He's not the sad loser we had at the beginning, playing guitar for a bunch of other sad pricks, but he actually has a point in his fucking life, right? And they're like, "Oh, this makes us feel inadequate because we could never have a point in our lives because we're vacuous, empty people with no souls," right? Meanwhile, Isaac's still trying to make small talk with what's her name. So again, this is just an example of how this is unnecessarily padded, right? They said, "Oh, it's about 10 miles away from where they got to go, or 20 miles away." They said, "Oh, we could use a bike." So they have this whole scene where they go to a bar, and they bet Isaac would win, the strongest person here playing arm wrestling, right? and he's like, "You bet your bikes on it." So what do we win if you lose? Which you're obviously going to lose. Says you lose, you choose, which means I am gonna suck and fuck you in every way humanly possible, right? Which seems like a reasonably good bet. And the cleanest bikers ever, of course, put their keys in. So then they arm wrestle, and obviously Isaac wins. And they're like, okay, let's get out. Yeah, that's really going to happen. And they get out. And they have dinner together, and they just see what a wonderful freaking life they have. And they feel they don't understand it. They can't relate to it at all, right? Because they are, again, they live this shit, awful existence in Hollywood with all the money in the world, right? And what's the name? Aidan Platnaki and what's the redheaded guy? They got married. How long did it last? A week? A day? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They live in misery. They live in misery with empty lives that mean nothing. And when they see a life that actually has worth, they hate it, right? So then again, because you don't want to have any meaningful sex. That would be wrong. Having meaningful sex that meant something. That wasn't just like, oh, I want to feel good or I want it to be transactionable, right? You don't want to have any of that. So he's got a knot, and then they start shagging each other, of course. Okay. Meanwhile, back in his real life, right? There's like saying, okay, you got to come back. You're breaking the laws of time. And you see how mad Aidan Platnaki is. I said, what? I'm not coming back with you. Are you out your mind? I've got a wife and kid. I'm not going to desert them. And he's like, I don't even know you can come back now. You broke so many laws. So, hey, I am not leaving them, right? And look at her. I'm a white woman. Damn it. I'm a white woman. I say how things go because I'm a white woman. Don't you see? I turned that little boy into a little girl because I'm a white woman. Hear me roar, right? And he's like, you didn't follow him there. He says, look, I hid for 3 years, right? For 3 years, and I was going insane. And the idea that they're supposed to not interact with anybody is insane. It's not survivable. Not what humans are. Which he accurately tells them. But no, they're vacuous, empty fucking lives. And they can't stand his actual real life. But then apparently he never leveled with her that he's from the future, right? Which is kind of dumb. So he tells her everything. And the only reason that he found her, because he remembered her from the phone, or he had the phone or whatever. So he kind of cyber-stalked her. But it worked out okay. They got married. They have a happy life together, right? Like their lives meant something, right? Like when they have sex, it's not just getting their rocks off. It's bonding their souls together in matrimony. And I know it's boring to talk about it. I know it's not an option for many people. I understand that, right? But if it is an option for you, this is the best way to get happiness in your life. It just is. This is why everybody chases it, right? Why does everybody try and get into America? Because it's better than everywhere else, right? So meanwhile, they found the place. They could have cut that whole bike scene. Completely pointless. So the mineral deposit is under a house that's being sold. And she's like, "Oh, you newly married couple? Oh, that's so sweet." So can we have some time alone to talk about it? And they find where the deposit is, and they get their magic doodah out, and it drills for it, and they got to like guide it, and it's whatever. It's just a rabbit's foot. It's just a MacGuffin. So while it's doing that, he thanks her for reactivating him, right? And he says, listen, I only did it because I was ordered, but either way, thank you, right? And that's why I'm trying to connect with you. So then she says, I'm going to stun you now. I'm going to give you a stunning revelation that you couldn't have guessed in a million years. In a million years, you wouldn't guess this. And it's going to stun you. What is it? The person I lost because of you, right? Wasn't just my best friend. It was my lover. I'm a lesbian, or I'm bi. Oh, really? Didn't see that coming. Really? Oh, of course it was coming because this is a woke piece of shit, right? I'm sorry it's gone woke. It's not my fault it's gone woke. I'm just telling you what happened, right? So then they seal it up and said, "Oh, what do you think? Is it good?" She said, "You know," and she says, "We just split up." Right? Meanwhile, they're watching some TV show in 2025, and there's a knock at the door, and they turn up with fucking security. Like, what is wrong with these people? I mean, what is actually fucking wrong with these people? That they think they're on the right side of history right now? They're going to tear a father away from his wife and child, his pregnant wife and child. Oh, no, but we got to follow the rules, right? Because whatever the government said is right, right? Yeah, but she doesn't have a lesbian haircut. I know, that's why. It's probably a wig. That's why. And he's like, I am not going under any circumstance. And he pulls out a gun. It's like, I will fight you, right? I will fight you. And then they say, fine, we're going to leave you here, but we're going to go and get you from 10 years ago, right? Why? Why do they have to taunt him? This is just cruelty. We're going to destroy your life. We're going to make you into a miserable loser just like us. We're going to take the meaning out of your life that you never knew you needed. And we're doing it to make ourselves feel good about it because you make us feel inadequate. This is like Brave New World, where having children is a disgusting thing. Oh, God, it's so filthy, right? And he should just shoot them right there. Should have just shoot them, right? And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, they have their last moments together because they're about to have their reality torn apart by authoritarian left-wing cunts, right? That the week before transitioned a 12-year-old. All right, and they're like, we love each other. And I hope their reality stays there somehow, right? And they make a branching reality because it's just so disgusting. Fine, so they go back in time again. And they go and get him. Look at that. He's like, oh, thank you. My life's so much better now. He's like, yeah, you're a meaningless, empty sap like the rest of us, right? He said, but we have to tell you that you actually had meaning in your life at one point. Hello, Daisy. How you doing, darling? So, but then their time drive is broken. This was, again, good scripting. Really good scripting because they can't go back to the future. And they said, wait a minute, we can go back to the future because we have a time drive built in. It's the warp drive. We just turn the shielding off. The shield stops us traveling in time, right? So we can just do that. And this is actually, again, a lot of this is very, very good, which is my problem with it. And then here, poor bastard, life been destroyed. I mean, like, the children destroyed. They just don't give a shit, right? They just don't give a shit. So they go, now they got special effects. We're going into the future. Whiz, 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 whiz. And they turn around, they go back to Earth, they go, whiz, 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 whiz. And they're back in their time. Yay. So later they tell him, and he's like, well, that must have been so hard for you. Thank you so much for making me a fucking loser. Well, again, here, one second. Let me share this slide. Which one is it? Right. This is what they make him into. This fucking loser, 40-year-old playing a guitar. What loser? No longer a husband and father, just a frick. I mean, like, it's evil. It's so shocking, right? It's really genuinely evil that it's so shocking. Shocking that it's so evil. He's like, well, that must have been the hardest thing you had to do. Yeah, we really found it hard. There, thank God my life is meaningless and empty. Oh, yes, it's more convenient this way. I genuinely, I just look at, yeah. No, this is terrible. Oh, this is the worst ever. Oh, responsibility and commitment and self-sacrifice. That's terrible. Oh, we want to be able to do this. God, it's like it genuinely makes me sick. Genuinely makes me sick. So there you go. The Orville is woke. I'm sorry. The Orville is indeed woke. But it's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.